This video is brought to you in collaboration with WoWhead.com. Hello everyone! Last week we began the story Cenarius, in which we talked about his origin and family tree, as well as his time guiding the race of Azeroth and fighting in the War of the Ancients. His student Malfurion became an archdruid in his own right, and for millennia they walked the Emerald Dream, keeping balance in nature, but always there when his people needed them. That time would come soon enough, as Illidan's Stormrage was proven right. He told them that the Legion would make a return and tried to claim the world of Azeroth once more. We saw this go down in Warcraft 3, where the Demon Lord killed Jaden. He sent the Lich King to the planet, which led to Prince Arthur's Manifil going down a very dark path, eventually returning as a Death Knight in search of the Lich King and resurrecting Kel'Thuzad as a Lich. Kel'Thuzad then used his powers to summon forth the demons, like the Pit Lord Manaroth, and of course, also his Lord Archimonde. No well needed this time around, just the proper incantations, and after more than 10,000 years, the one responsible for Malorn's death, he walks the world once more. They set their eyes on that second well of eternity, with the world's Renordasil trying to cover it up. It would give them the power needed to open the gateway for the rest of the Legion, perhaps even for Sargeras himself. On Archimonde's orders, Manaroth and the Dreadlord Cenarius, they traveled to Kalimdor to weaken his defenses in preparation for the demons' invasion. The continent, it teemed with creatures who were hostile to the Legion. The demons considered most of them harmless, little more than minor annoyances. But Cenarius and the other wild gods, they were a different story. During the War of the Ancients, they had fiercely resisted the Legion. If the Legion had any hopes of reaching that second well, the demons would have to get through Cenarius and his woodland allies first. To blunt the might of the wilds, Manaroth and Cenarius, they brought a powerful artifact with them, known as the Skull of Gul'dan. The demons had infused it with fell magic, making it incredibly powerful, and they could use it, they could draw out the energies to poison Ashenvale's woodlands and weaken Cenarius. The process, it would be slow, but it would definitely be effective. Before the demons could begin, another opportunity presented itself, namely the Orcs. Several years ago, they had drank from the blood of Manaroth and invaded Azeroth through the Dark Portal. Though the Alliance was formed and able to defeat the Horde, those that had surrendered, they were placed within internment camps. Amongst them, one would rise to reform the Horde, Warchief Vrao, not as the Horde of old, trying to claim the entire world, but one with a new vision. Under his leadership, the Horde came together. Even the one who had drank from the demon blood first, Gromar's Hellscream and his Warsong clan, they followed his lead when Vrao was told by Medivh to take his people and sail to the ancient lands of Kalimdor. Now Medivh, he was a powerful being that knew of the coming of the Legion, and he worked very hard against their plans. Unfortunately for the Orcs, even being near Manaroth, it started to affect them again. The blood curse still lingered in their veins, and it made them more hostile, refusing strict orders from Vrao. The Warchief saw no other option but to send Grom and his force away to go and chop some lumber in the forest of Ashenvale. Forest, trees and nature under the protection of the Kaldorei and Cenarius.
Damn Thrall for sending us away. He chooses to use his greatest warriors for manual labor. You'll be lost without me.
Chieftain, there's something strange about these woods. It's too quiet. Almost like we're being watched.
Are you all afraid of spirits now? There is nothing here but ancient trees and shadow.
Anaduna farore, Ysera duna bandos, Ashterod nefanas.
You hear that? This place is haunted. I fear no living enemy, but my axe cannot cleave fleshless spirits.
Still your tongue and get to work. The War Chief's new settlement will require a great deal of lumber. This section of forest must be cleared. Whatever you say.
Chieftain, we're under attack!
You were right, sisters. These green-skinned brutes have no respect for life. Slay them in Elun's name.
Tyrande had ordered the sentinels to observe the newcomers from a distance. She had hoped that the refugees were merely passing through Ashenvale en route to other lands. She had been wrong. Some of the Horde green-skin orcs, they made war on the forest. They stole from the woodlands without asking, felling trees with reckless abandon. The sentinels struck out at Grom and his war songs, as deadly as any foes that the orcs had ever faced. That fact didn't frighten Gromash and his warriors though, it actually excited them. They had been longing for a chance to fight a worthy enemy, but before long the orcs found themselves severely outmatched. Cenarius had also been watching them, and he smelled the demon blood in their veins. Thinking that the green-skinned creatures were Legion servants, Cenarius attacked them alongside the Night Elves. The Orcs stood no chance against the combined might. Though the battle lust remained undimmed, defeat seemed imminent. It was this moment of desperation that played perfectly into the hands of the Legion.
Ashenvale Forest. After 10,000 years, I still recognize this cursed place. This is the veil of our ancient enemy, the Night Elves demigod, Cenarius.
Yes. Lord Archimon demands that Cenarius be destroyed before we launch the invasion of Kalimdor.
I would relish the chance to face him again in combat. But he is crafty and rarely appears in the open.
Fateful as it sounds, your pet orcs have recently despoiled these forest lands and incurred his wrath. Lord Archimond and I believe that the orcs are capable of killing Cenarius for us.
They would have little chance against Cenarius. If memory serves, his powers were quite formidable.
Yes, but so are yours. The blood pact that you made with the orcs long ago still binds them to you. You need only recharge their energies.
Just what are you suggesting, Dreadlord?
Spill your burning blood into this pool. Its corruption will lure the orcs to it. And once they've tasted your blood again, they will be unstoppable.
Who dares defile this ancient land? Who dares the wrath of Cenarius and the Night Elves?
The forest is coming alive! We're under attack!
Let battle be joined!
Their numbers are too great! We must fall back to the other side of the river!
I defeated your kind in ages past, and I shall do so again. Now, my warriors, cleanse these brutes from the wilds. I will watch over you from the forest.
Hell scream! I sense a dark power emanating from the wilderness. It might be a key to destroying Cenarius. The pool emanates great power. But I smell this stench of a demon curse about it.
I am cursed already. If I must drink from these waters to defeat Cenarius, then I will.
No, that goes against everything the war chief teaches us. We can't let rage overcome us again.
No, warrior. We must embrace it as never before. We must become the vessels of destruction that we were meant to be. Yes! I feel the power once again. Come, my warriors. Drink from the dark waters, and you will be reborn.
The demons did their job well. You creatures are as reckless and bloodthirsty as they ever were.
We orcs are free, demigod.
Is that what you tell yourself? Despite what you may believe, you are no better than the malignant bile that flows through your veins.
Damn you! Ugh!
You cannot defeat me. I am the heart of the land.
The demigod has fallen. The war song is supreme.
Gromas and his forces, they were able to overwhelm the might of Cenarius and even slay the wild god, but it came at a great price, as they were now once again shackled to the Legion. At the moment of Cenarius' death, the wilds around Hyjal darkened and trembled. Dryads, chimeras, treants and other fey creatures, they retreated in horror. Though some of them would return to aid the Night Elves, many would also remain in hiding for the duration of the war. Now the druids slumbering and walking the dream, they also felt the effects of Cenarius' passing. When Tronda actually saw Archimonde and his vanguard defiling Ashenvale, she knew that the time had come to wake up the druids and gather their forces. It troubled her that Malfurion and his followers had not yet emerged from the dream. They must have sensed the corruption spreading across Ashenvale. The reason for that was Cenarius. When he had fallen, his death had sent a shockwave through the dream, which weakened the druids and threw them into a state of confusion. Malfurion and his followers sensed fragments of what was happening in the physical world, but they were effectively trapped within the Emerald Dream. Thankfully, Tronda was able to collect the horn of Cenarius and use its powers to awaken them from their slumber. Together, they stood with the remnants of the Alliance, which were led by Jaina Proudmoore, and the Horde led by Thrall. In the meantime, they had been able to save Gromas' soul and set him free from the Legion's control, long enough so that Hellscream could strike down Manoroth and liberate all of his people. He gave his life for doing so, and now all of them were ready to give their lives to defeat Archimonde and the Burning Legion. By buying Malfurion enough time, the Archdruid used those enchantments placed upon Nordrassil to blow up the Archdemon and prevent their plans from using the well. This did mean giving up their immortality, but if that even gave them pause, then perhaps they had lived long enough. Their union meant the salvation of the world of Azeroth, but it would not last forever. This is after all World of Warcraft, and new threats would rise up to try and claim it. With the Cataclysm, we saw the Black Dragon aspect Deathwing shake the world to its core as he was ready to bring about the Hour of Twilight. This is the moment in which the old gods would break out of the prisons and rule the world once more. To this end, he had the Twilight Hammer cult working for him, while he also summoned Ragnaros the Fire Lord from the elemental plane of fire.
By fire be purged!
The Fire Lord has risen! We must send word to the others! Let us hurry!
Ragnaros in turn then sends out his fiery minions to assault Mount Hyjal, burn it together with the World Tree Nordrassil to ash. Naturally, we couldn't let this happen, but to stand up against such a mighty force, we needed the aid of powerful beings in turn. It was time for the demigods of the world to be brought back and stand with us, like they had during the War of the Ancients. Their connection to the Emerald Dream, it made it so that when they are slain on the physical plane, their spirits would return to the Emerald Dream. Very similar as to how demons can only truly be slain within the Twisting Nether. That meant that those who gave their lives during the War of the Ancients, and that Cenarius himself, they could make a return.
During my stay in the dream, I made a vital discovery. The rift that weakens the boundaries of this world has hastened the return of powerful allies. The ancient guardians are coming back. Cenarius, Aviana, Goldrin. I can feel their presence. We must make sure we usher them into this world. Their timely aid will be indispensable.
At each of the shrines, we aid the wild gods, but of course, the force of Deathwing and Ragnaros, they were not just going to let us do our thing. They tried their very best to disrupt the ritual, but together with Jared Shadowsong, the same commander that had worked together with Cenarius during the War of the Ancients, we held our ground, and Cenarius, he walked the world again. With his might at our side, we should be able to send Ragnaros back to the elemental plane of fire. As like with the demons and the wild gods, the elemental lords, they can also only truly be vanquished within their own realm. After taking out the gatekeeper, with the aid of our forces summoned with the Horn of Cenarius, we join the Wild God as well as Hamul and Malfurion as they confront the Fire Lords.
We are ready, Cenarius.
We shall face the Fire Lord and drive every ember of his being out of our realm. I shall call upon the chilling mountain winds to protect us from Ragnaros's flame. Malfurion and Hamul will shatter the Fire Lord's defenses, allowing us to force him back. Let us begin. It is only a matter of time before the Fire Lord becomes aware of our presence and comes to the Spire's defense. Who dares defile the halls of living flame? I shall sear your essence from your flesh. Quickly, everyone move into position! Force him back into the Firelands! Face me, insects. I shall crush you firsthand. You have only delayed the inevitable, Cenarius. From the Firelands, my armies are reborn. It took all of our combined strength, but we have pushed Ragnaros back into the Firelands.
We must not let down our guard. It's only a matter of time before he regains his strength and returns to turn Nordrassil into ash.
We must confer with the leaders of the Horde and the Alliance. Ragnaros must be defeated in his home realm. Only then will he forever be vanquished. Let us leave this place for now. We must return to the surface and restore the damage our enemies have caused.
But just kicking him off the physical plane of existence, it was not good enough. We had to gather our forces and enter the Firelands itself. His armies were vast and his minions were powerful. Some druids even joined the Fire Lord's side, but together we were able to enter Sulfuron Keep and confront the Fire Lords. Upon near defeat, he would tell us that we had come too soon and tried to escape from the battle, but there would be no escape this time.
Too soon. No, Fiend! Your time is now! Outsiders, this is not your realm.
Heroes, he is bound. Finish him!
When I finish this, your pathetic mortal world will burn with my vengeance.
With no possible way of escape, Ragnaros became twice as dangerous, but heroes did manage to defeat the Fire Lord once and for all. Even back then, they knew that a new elemental Lord of Fire would rise again, which happened in the Expansion Legion. But this one was a little bit kinder to mortals, and he actually allied with the Shaman Orderhall in the war against the demons. That's right, the demons made a return once again, only this time Cenarius would not face the brunt of their forces. This story takes place within Val'sharah. In order to seal off the gateway at the Tomb of Sargeras, the entry point for the Legion, in order to stop them from pouring in, we needed the Pillars of Creation, and one of them was called the Tears of Elune, which we found within Val'sharah. Malfurion Stormrage has gone on ahead, since we'll have to ask his mentor where to safeguard the tears. But as we go deeper into the zone, we find out that not everything is as dreamy as it seems.
Ah, Val'sharah. Every step in this forest brings back precious memories. Ages ago, the first druids molded this land to be a reflection of the Emerald Dream. Merely an echo, but Val'sharah is as close to the dream as this world can come. Make ready, hero. We shall soon stand in the presence of the Lord of the Forest. Follow me.
Malfurion, thank Elune you've come.
It is good to see you again.
You must come quickly. Something's happened. He was in the dream, but now he won't wake. We cannot stir him.
What is this corruption?
We don't know. It only just appeared.
Cenarius is not doing too well, and we must gather the Archdruids of the forest, since with their help, we'll be able to summon Ysera and get her adopted son the help that he needs. She will surely know what horror has taken over Malfurion's mentor, so we ride out to discover the location of the Archdruids, and then we gather them. As we do, we discover that Malfurion's oldest enemy has finally returned, Xavius, now going by the title of Nightmare Lord. You might wonder how someone that has been turned into a tree can be such a massive threat. Well, after War of the Ancients, when the land of Kalimdor split apart, Xavius' tree form, he felt the world's pain burning through his body. He was swallowed by the waves, yet deep down below, he made contact with an ancient evil force. The old god N'Zoth allied himself with Xavius, and for millennia, the tree was nurtured, roots digging deep, the small tree becoming bigger and bigger, until Xavius was strong enough to move out of the water and plant himself firmly within the world. That was his connection to the physical world of Azeroth, but he also gained access to the Emerald Dream, working on turning it into the Nightmare. These seeds of corruption, which were planted a long time ago by Yogg-Saron, they were now used by N'Zoth and Xavius, but the Nightmare, it was eventually vanquished by the combined efforts of Malfurion, Tyrande, Fura, and a whole bunch of other people. Fura is the niece of Broxigar, and Broxigar, he was a legendary orc, accidentally sent back in time by Nosdormu, back in time to the period of the War of the Ancients. He was not alone either. Ronan and Cressus, they also made their way back, and throughout their adventures, they came in touch with Cenarius, who helped them out quite a bit. He even guided Malfurion in forging a mighty weapon for Brox, known as the Axe of Cenarius. Composed entirely of oak, it was blessed by the Wild God. Let it always swing true, always protect its master. Let it be wielded well for the cause of life and justice. Let it add to the strength of its master, and in turn let him strengthen it. This weapon would strike none other than Sargeras himself, which bought Azeroth the time that it needed to close down the portal. Sadly, Brox didn't make it back, but the axe did, eventually ending up in the hands of Fura, who then used it against Xavius. But even back then, they knew that the Nightmare was not completely banished. Malfurion could only push it back to a portion of the dream, which was known as the Rift of Aln. They were well aware that this was a threat that they would have to deal with one day in the future, and as it turns out, that day has now come.
Lady Ysera, thank you for answering our call. We face a dire threat.
No need to explain, Malfurion. I have seen what is coming. The Emerald Dream is being overtaken by the Nightmare. The Legion and the Satyr Xavius are to blame. Shaladrasil, the World Tree, has fallen to the Nightmare's corruption and spreads its curse across our precious land. The Nightmare Lord must be vanquished, or Val'sharah is lost.
Her son is slowly falling to the Nightmare, and we need the Tears of Elune to save him, the same tears for which we originally came to the area. At the Temple of Elune, we're allowed to pick them up. We're also told to be careful, since the roots of Shaladrasil, a world tree similar to Nordrasil and Teldrasil, they've reached all the way here, and the Legion is attacking.
Foolish mortal! The Tears of Elune are mine now. If Malfurion wants them back so badly, he can seek me out. I'll be waiting.
Xavius has already claimed the tears, so we must return to the grove with empty hands, where Cenarius finally gives in.
No! I have wasted too much time here. No more!
The loss of Cenarius to the Nightmare. It's a devastating blow to us all. Malfurion is enraged and he quickly goes after Xavius. We follow him, of course. Ysera fears that his hatred for Xavius, it will lead him to making mistakes, and she would be right.
Ah, the Mother of Dreams has arrived at last.
corrupted tears of Elune are shot into her heart, and the dreamer is taken by the nightmare. Tyrande the Whisperwind, in search of her husband, she shows up and asks for her aid. She saw him in visions, enraged and then distressed, and now lost beyond her mind's reach. We eventually find him again, ensnared by Xavius, as he gives Tyrande a choice.
Tyrande Whisperwind, I have longed for this encounter for many years. Your adoring husband will be joining me in the nightmare. His was a special invitation. And our dear Ysera, would you believe she's had a change of heart? She will aid me in my conquest of Val'sharah, starting with your precious temple of Elune. Such a dilemma, High Priestess. Kneel beside your beloved as he draws his final breath? Or watch the temple of your goddess burn?
Tyrande's heart breaks for Malfurion, but she cannot follow where he goes. She has sworn herself to Elune, to her goddess, to defend her temples and land with all that she is. She cannot stand by while her order is in danger, so she makes her choice and she rides out to defend the temple. Sadly, Ysera is simply too far gone. The nightmare has her now, and we have no other choice but to put Cenarius' adopted mother down. After which, Elune herself reaches down and places her spirit amongst the stars, leaving behind the cleansed tears of Elune. Yet the nightmare, it still has a tight hold over the dream and the land. Cenarius has been taken by it, and Malfurion is captured by Xavius. The Archdruid is our first target to set free, and despite the taunting words from the image of Xavius, we are able to do so. His real full power that waits for us within the nightmare, so we get to climb into Shaladrisil, take the battle to him, and fight against the roots of the corruption. It's not going to be easy though, since the nightmare has claimed many powerful beings. Some were friends of ours, allies in the past, but now their mind has been twisted and warped by the nightmare. One by one, we take them down, we set them free from the grasp of the nightmare, until we weaken it enough to open the path forwards.
Behold, the iris opens! The way to Cenarius is clear. Moonglade is the most sacred place in all the dream. To think that my Shan'do could play any part in its corruption. I must see with my own eyes what horrors have befallen my beloved teacher. Steel your hearts against the darkness, heroes. Cenarius. It breaks my heart to see my Shan'do twisted and torn this way. If we can subdue him, I will do everything in my power to purge the vile touch of Xavius from his spirit.
Malfurion! No! It cannot be! I prayed my Theroshan would never fall to the nightmare. Yet here you stand, casting a shadow upon the purity of the dream!
Can it be? My old master is blind to the lies of Xavius, and thinks we are the source of the infestation. You have been deceived, my teacher. Xavius has twisted your perceptions. I beg of you, let me cleanse you of this evil.
Liars! Servant of darkness! It will give me no pleasure to destroy you, but my duty is to the dream. Undo Falador!
Cenarius is so caught up in the nightmare that he can't see that we're the ones trying to help him. To him, we are the corruption. We are the enemies of the nightmare, and he does everything in his power to stop us.
Is that you, Theroshan?
Yes, Cenarius. We are here to save you.
We must strike back at the nightmare and fight with noble hearts. Could it be true? Could the darkness be inside of me?
Hold your weapons!
Sacred lines, entangle the corrupted! Father, is that you? Yes, Father. I will not fail you.
Xavius even uses an image of Malorn, Cenarius' father, to convince him that we are the enemies, and he binds Malfurion, preventing him from aiding us further. We are able to break the Archdruid out, and the mighty Cenarius is brought low. We don't kill him though, we simply knock him out, and we leave Malfurion behind to cleanse his teacher, while the true core of the corruption still awaits.
Father, I have failed you.
It is done. Cenarius is beaten, but my great teacher lives. Now, I must focus all of my strength to cleanse him. Xavius waits ahead in the Rift of Aln, the true heart of the nightmare. Would that I could fight at your side, heroes, but to this place I cannot go. My bond with the Emerald Dream gives me great power, but it also makes me vulnerable to the Rift's darkness. I have peered inside it and know this to be true. Should I step within, I would be lost, just as Cenarius was. Go, destroy the Nightmare Lord. Only this way can the dream be restored, and Azeroth be saved. We must put an end to the nightmare. Say the word, and I will take us into the heart of that twisted place.
Our final confrontation in the Emerald Nightmare that takes place at the Rift of Aln, which is thought to believe the point where the dream itself originated. Those who venture into the nightmare, they will face the full extent of Xavius' power and his true form, a grotesque and distended monstrosity, one that has definitely skipped leg day.
The nightmare has corrupted dragons, gods, and legends. Your downfall will be simple and swift.
Embrace the dreaming, champions. It can save you.
Luckily, we don't face Xavius alone though, since up above, her beautiful form shows up, and her sweet words echo in our minds. Ysera aids us in our battle. With her help and guidance, we're able to end the nightmare, and we slay Xavius.
Nightmares are never forgotten. Heroes, champions, step forth and hear me. The nightmare has long been a cancer eager to consume the Emerald Dream. Had Xavius succeeded, his corruption would have overwhelmed Azeroth, giving rise to a living nightmare. Your triumph restores the dream and safeguards your world. The allies of Xavius will never relent. But this road, at least, is closed to them. To honor your courage, I offer passage into the pure heart of the dream. As you feel the essence of life blooming beneath your feet, know that it endures thanks to what you achieved this day.
And that is where the story of Cenarius ends for the moment, with the Emerald Dream cleansed and balance returned to nature. This stalwart defender of Azeroth has seen battle through many of the world's darkest hours, but we can rest easy, knowing that the Lord of the Forest will be there for us, if we ever need him. I do wonder what he thinks of the burning of Teldrassil and the campaign at the Darkshore. Honestly, it's rather odd that we haven't seen him come to defense quite yet, but who knows what might happen in the future.
Tell her. We are coming.
For now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you're looking for some more details on all the things that we talked about today, then check out the related WoWhead article in the description down below. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!